Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name's Tom. I'm a self-employed gardener here in the UK. Today's video, what is your most important tool? Because I always thought my most important tool was my vehicle. Because without my vehicle, I couldn't get to my jobs, I couldn't do any work. But recently, I figured out it's not my vehicle, it's not my £1,000 hedge trimmer, not my £2 mower, it's not my blower, it's not my strimmer. I found out very recently, the hard way, that my most important tool is my body. Now, those of you that are regular viewers here, you'll notice that I've gone from posting 2 or 3 videos a week since I started this channel at the end of August to this being my first video in about 4 weeks. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is because I've recently had some health issues. I'm okay now, I'm on the mend. Nothing too serious, but enough to sort of really knock it out of me. So, very recently, I was in some severe pain, and long story short, I had a really severe kidney infection. And I was at the doctor's, I was in the hospital for a little bit having some tests done to make sure it wasn't something else. And just to do a few other checks because I have had a couple of these kidney infections before. So that's that, and I'm over it, and I'm on the mend. But it got me thinking a lot, and it got me really stressed as well, because obviously I was off work for a week, about a week and a half, but a full week. And there's never a good time for these things to happen. But of course, this time of year, when we have a nice day like today and it's sunny, you want to get out and do as much work as you can. Because no doubt tomorrow, it'll be lashing it down and it'll be tougher and we can't get as much done. And obviously I had a lot of time off. It got me thinking a lot about 2 things. One, my own situation with my business and how I'm going to change things going forward to make sure that I'm covered for this. So it got me thinking about that. But it also got me thinking about this YouTube stuff and how we can come across us YouTubers, albeit small or big. There's a lot of self-employed people, a lot of tradespeople that do these YouTube channels, and they do them for 2 reasons. The main reason people do them is because they want to see if it can get to the stage where your channel gets monetized and see if they can make any money with it. And that is why 99% of people do YouTube. Anyone that's telling you it's not is a liar. But there is another reason, and that is you genuinely do want to help people. That's sort of your second reason for doing it. And that's one of my reasons. I genuinely do want to help people, because when I started off YouTube, I was watching a lot of people on YouTube, and I learned a lot of stuff before I even started my business that gave me a little bit of a head start. And that was from people that have been doing this for a long time. So when I started, I thought, well, maybe my channel could be quite relevant to someone new, because I'm still really new. I'm only going into, I've only done 2 full seasons, sort of 2 and 2/3. So not quite 3 seasons. So I'm really new. And I thought that'd be quite good for someone that's starting off, because they can sort of get a realistic feel for things. And to be fair, in quite a lot of my videos, I'm quite transparent with money and how much I charge for things. Now, I get that that can come across in different ways, but the only reason I talk about my prices is to give you a feel. And that being said, that doesn't mean that my prices are what my prices in my area is right for your area, because every area is different. If you're in a really rural part of Scotland and there's not many properties, you are going to need to charge a lot more than someone who is in an area like me, who has got 90,000 people in a sort of 5-mile radius living in a town/city, and there's loads of work. There's loads of competition, but there's loads of work. But anyway, it got me thinking that I'm quite transparent with how much you can make and how good things can be. And I think it's even more important to be very clear that things can go very wrong very quickly when you are self-employed. Now, I always thought my most important tool was my mower. And then when I got a couple of backup mowers, I decided that my most important tool was my vehicle, because I had previous problems with my last vehicle and I got a new vehicle. And I thought the vehicle's the most important thing, because without that, I can't cope. And that's not true, because I was without a vehicle when my last one broke. Before I bought this one, I was without a vehicle for 2 months in the middle of summer. So June and July, I didn't have a van, and half of August. And I was hiring them from Enterprise. And it was no problem. So I learned that, okay, this isn't a problem anymore. If anything goes seriously wrong with my van, we've got a way out. Now, as I say, recently I become unwell, had some health problems that meant that I couldn't work. And that is when I realised that the most important tool to us self-employed people, to anyone really, but particularly self-employed people that don't have the perks or the security of an employer, is us. It's our body. That is our most important tool. If something goes wrong with our body, we can't work, we can't make money, we can't pay our bills. We can't afford to be off work for 6 or 7 weeks with no income, especially with a service like this where you go into properties weekly or fortnightly. If you have to take a long chunk of time off work, are your clients going to be loyal to you? And are they going to say, no worries, you take 6 weeks off, the garden will still be here? Or are they going to have to get someone in after 2 or 3 weeks and drop you? So yeah, it made me realise the most important tool to us is our body. And it's really important that we are charging our worth for that. Now, every year in spring and the beginning of summer, you see these people pop up on your social media sites, on your Facebook groups and stuff, saying, doing grass cuts today, £10 front and back. And we look at it and we go, I can't, how am I going to compete with that? Now listen, the first thing they'll say is, they're going to take the customers that you don't want. You don't want them customers that are paying a £10 or 15 quid for the gardens cut. They're not the customers you want. They're certainly not the customers that I want as a lawn care business. They are not my customers. The second thing they'll say is, once it starts raining, or once their equipment breaks, or once we get to, if they manage to last the summer, once we get to autumn, they will not be doing it. They will not build a business up on those prices. So don't worry about that. Know your worth. Put your prices up each year. Figure out what the going rate is in your area. Figure out if that's going to be enough for you to not only make a weekly wage, but to pay for your vehicles, pay for any breakdowns, to put some money away for a pension, and to put some money away for holiday pay, for sick pay, for stuff like that. Because these are the things that people don't tell you when you're starting off. And I think it's quite important that I address this at the moment whilst it's sort of current and happening with me. Because it was only for a week and a half, but I lost about £1,000. And when I've already lost about £3,000 in the summer through the drought, through people skipping cuts and stuff like that, stuff not growing, I lost about £3,000. I've lost about £1,000 last year. That's £4,000 that I've lost this year through no fault of my own. What I can do going forward is be more prepared for that. So the first thing we're going to do is, after I've had my winter break in the spring next year, well, during the winter, ready for spring, I'm going to put an advert on for garden maintenance clients. I'm going to specifically target the bigger properties that have got lots going on. Lots of hedge work, lots of border work, decent sized lawn. And the reason I want them is because this year I had quite a lot of people that are just got grass, just on a lawn mowing schedule. I had a lot of people that would send me a message saying, can you leave the lawn for another 2 weeks? There's not been much growth. And it hit me hard. It really hit me hard, because I built this business up based on loads of really quick in and out grass cutting jobs. So when you lose a chunk of them, it's difficult. So next year I want to be more versatile, and I want to diversify, and I want a bit of a mix of jobs, so that if we do get a drought and the lawns do stop growing, I can still turn up and I've still got work to do. So that's how I'm going to prepare for that. What I'm also going to do is put all of my prices up by 10%, which might sound like quite a big increase 10% is quite a big increase really for a business. In companies that I've worked for before, they tend to have about a 5% increase on their products and stuff each year. I'm going to put a 10% increase on every single one of my customers. If anyone leaves me over the sake of 10%, fine, I'll replace them. And that 10% isn't going to go in my pocket. That 10% is going to go into a separate fund, and that is going to be my sick and holiday pay fund. Okay, so that if I have to take a week off or 2 weeks off for whatever reason, hopefully it's not longer than that, hopefully, but you know, these things could happen. We could break a bone, we could when I was in hospital, they thought that my infection might have actually been my appendix, and I was stressing because if I was to have my appendix out, that would have wiped me out for the rest of the year probably. This, because we're sort of at the back end, getting to the back end of November now, that would have tied me through till Christmas. I would have been done, and that really worried me. So I want to have fun there, because if I had a sick pay fund there for the week that I was off, I would have slept a lot better at night, because I was really stressing about me being poorly and not being able to get back to work. So a sick pay fund is something I'm going to do for next year. I think what I've learned is not only do we need a winter fund to see us through winter, we need a sick pay fund. We obviously need some sort of capital somewhere for breakdowns. We do need a holiday fund, because, you know, we're not working for nothing. We're working to live a nice life, and I certainly go on holiday every year. I go on a big holiday. I go to Florida, to Disney, with the kids, and we go all out, right? And why shouldn't we? Because we're working hard all year. So why shouldn't we do that? And that's what I'm going to do. So next year, I'm going to set up I'm going to increase my prices by 10%, and that 10% is going to go into a little savings somewhere, and that is going to be my sick pay fund. And if I don't use that sick pay fund that year, happy days. The next year it goes towards buying new equipment, whatever, or we just keep building it up and it just becomes a savings. I've had a couple of people that have dropped me a message on Facebook, and dropped me, I've actually had someone that dropped me an email that got my email address off the YouTube account to see how I was and if I was making videos still. So thank you. I'm okay. I'm all better now. I've just been catching up and trying to, because obviously I've set myself back quite a bit. So I've been trying to catch myself up on all my jobs. I'm pretty much caught up now. I'm doing all my last cuts and stuff. So yes, I'm okay. Yes, I'm still doing videos on YouTube. I will be back to weekly videos now, hopefully. Yeah, thank you for your well wishes. Let me know in the comments, you know, how's the season going for you? Are you still really busy? You're winding down now? We can get a little bit anxious about the winter, and then all of a sudden we're really busy with hedges and leaves and people. I don't know about you, but I get people that send me messages saying, oh, I need a last cut and I need a winter garden tidy. So yeah, all the good stuff. Thanks for watching. Thank you for the well wishes. I'm feeling better now. I was looking forward to the winter break. Now I'm trying to get some money back in, because I'm absolutely skint. It's wiped me out. No shame in saying that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hype the video if you want. I really appreciate it. And yeah, take care. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you.